In today's video of ImpracticallyNoah Productions, we're going to try multiple accessories that can be compatible or not compatible with the Nintendo Switch 2. How's it going, everybody? ImpracticallyNoah here, back again with another Nintendo Switch 2 video. So it's day 2 since the release of the Nintendo Switch 2. I purchased the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller, a Surge branded starter kit, as well as the Samsung branded Nintendo Switch microSD express card of 256 gigs. Those were the main accessories that I bought back on launch day. But now it's time to test out other accessories that I had lying around. In this video, we're going to test connectivities with Bluetooth headphones and earbuds, wired headphones with either 2 separate jacks for a microphone and ear drivers, as well as a gaming headset. This is the HyperX Cloud Alpha S2 headset with its USB conversion kit, some USB-C to USB-A female adapters, and a bunch of others. Now, let's get started. Let's start off with previous generation controllers from the Nintendo Switch 1. So I already experimented with the official Switch 1 Pro controller. All you have to do is turn on the sync button, and the flashing lights are over here. Of course, the Nintendo Switch 2 is over here. Unfortunately, the Switch 1 and Switch 2 do not have like a sync button on their tablet end. All you have to do is either change grip order. But here you go. You see, the Switch 1 Pro controller works. Again, Switch 1. Here is the difference between the Switch 1 and Switch 2 Pro controllers. This is the Switch 2. You have the LED indications on the top with the USB-C charging port. The triggers are these. This is a whitish gray hue. The same for the plastic housing for the joysticks. And of course it has a headphone jack for their chat system.
I just labeled mine to carry the Switch.
And of course it has the GL and GR bumpers. So yes, the Switch 2 Pro controller cannot also just be the main one for the Switch 2, but also the original Switch 1. Now let's test out third-party Pro controller options from the original Nintendo Switch. Here is a PDP branded Afterglow Pro controller. This has like the bumper plastic housing to do this. I tried this before, didn't really work out. So how I did it, of course, I did the sync button. I even tried the USB cord functionality. Unfortunately, it does not work because you can't really see it from here, but it takes micro USB. As I'm trying to sync it up, even if I go to grip order, if I do the L and R triggers or ZL and ZR, I guess you have to go to the grip order in order to do this. So yeah, you can use third-party official Nintendo Switch 1 Pro controllers. You can see, navigating through the menu. This can also be the same for the Switch 1 official Pro controller. And of course, the official Switch 2 Pro controller. See the indication, 3 players. Now let's try original Joy-Con ones. So I'm going to go back to change grip order. I'm just going to grab my neon purple and neon orange Joy-Cons. I'll just start off with the purple, then I'll pair the orange. So sync, and probably press the L and R triggers.
Well, stopped. Let me just pair it again.
And it works. Official Nintendo Switch 1 Joy-Cons can work with the Nintendo Switch 2 for backwards compatible Switch 1 titles. But you cannot connect these to the Switch 2 because they're more of a sliding mechanism connection rather than Nintendo Switch 2's magnetic connection to the Joy-Con 2. So as you can see, I got the neon, purple, and orange connected. How amazing is that? Navigating with the purple and now the orange. That's amazing. This is just kind of like the original PlayStation 2 with PlayStation 1 memory cards and controllers. Maybe Xbox compatibility? That was the Nintendo Switch 1 controller compatibility. Now let's take a look at pairing wireless headphones and headsets, as well as wired. Alright guys, let's test out Bluetooth connectivity, the headphone jack, and the USB-C ports on the Nintendo Switch 2 for audio. So let's start off with Bluetooth, of course. So we are at the system settings. Bluetooth audio. Here's a disclaimer though, only 2 wireless controllers can be connected while using the Bluetooth audio. Bluetooth audio can't be used while connected to other local users. Bluetooth microphones cannot be used. You may experience delays in the audio, or connect or disconnect devices from quick settings. Hold the home button. So the reason why they put this disclaimer is because of all the other wireless connectivities they have in the Switch 2, such as the Wi-Fi module, of course the Bluetooth module, and the NFC reader, which is for Amiibo. I'm gonna start off pairing my Samsung Galaxy Bud Lives. So in order to do so, unfortunately the Galaxy Bud Live earbuds do not have like a pairing button, so I disabled my Samsung tablet and phone. As you can see, you have the Galaxy Buds Live and the model number of it. So I'm gonna connect. Couldn't connect, and that's because the case was closed. And there you go. You can connect and disconnect devices from quick settings to hold home. I will experiment with the Galaxy Bud Live. I'm gonna grab my Pro controller, and as you can see, you have a check mark icon. Okay, I can hear the audio through Bluetooth. I'm gonna try the home button. And as you can see, you can disable the earbuds. That's great. We got the Bluetooth function to work. Now let's take a look at the wired connectivities of audio. Now we're going to test the USB-C ports and the headphone jack for wired audio. So to start off with, we have a corporate style headset by Plantronics, and they have made it with separate headphone jacks, one for the drivers and one for the microphone. Unfortunately, the Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch 1 only has one headphone jack with support for up to 3-ring format of the headphone jacks. The third ring is for like a microphone input, but they separated them on this brand. This company separated the microphone and speaker ends with different headphone jacks. We can only assume that you can just use the headphone jack. And as you can see, let me just unplug and replug. You could have seen the headphone icon. So these headphone jacks work with the speaker end. Now let's try the microphone end. These count as headphones, but if I navigate, since I connected the microphone jack to it, can't hear anything from the microphone. I try to blow into it. Nope. I can only be muted. So in order to hear it, you need the actual headphone connector. I can hear it, navigate through the menu with these. So now, let's try the HyperX gaming headset that I showed off. As you can see, these are the gaming headset with a removable microphone. And I mentioned before, the Switch 1 and Switch 2 can only support 3-ring jacks as a max because of the microphone input. So if I just plug in the headphone jack cable of the headset to the headphone jack on the Switch 2, you just have the headphone functionality, which you can see a bit here. And of course I can probably hear it. Yep, through the headphone jack. So that was the headphone jacks. Now let's take a look at the top and the bottom USB-C ports. I'm just going to stick with the HyperX because it came with this USB converter, you see here, which can support virtual surround sound of 7.1. In order to do so, since there's no USB-A functionality on the Switch 2's main tablet, you have to use it in dock mode, which I'll show later, the USB-A connector. So in order to use the USB-C with the headset, you need an adapter. So here's one with a little neck. Here's one which is just like a dongle. And this came with my HyperX mouse. You can have removable cords. I'm gonna test out first the HyperX branded converter, plugging in USB-A end, and I just have this spare USB-C to C cable lying around. I'm gonna start off with the top USB-C port. Gonna be very careful with this wires on my lap. And with the HyperX adapter, you saw the headphone icon. And with the USB end, USB transcoder, I'm gonna listen to it in 2-channel audio, and then it's virtual 7.1 surround.
Okay. It works through this kind of conversion. I'm gonna test the 7.1.
The 7.1 functionality is like an echo, and I try and adjust the volume. Yep, it works. The volume. Unfortunately, you don't see the volume movement. I tried the chat volume.
I'm gonna try and set the max of the main volume of the Switch too.
I think I reached the max. Alright, so I think I reached the max. So that was with the HyperX transcoder with the top USB-C port. I'm just gonna briefly check the bottom.
I'll just show you at the bottom.
And you can see the icon. That was with the HyperX adapter, USB-C to A. Now let's try these adapters. This one I got at a dollar store with a neck on it, USB-C male on one end, USB 3A female on the other. So for this point of time, I'm just going to use the top one because we know that it may work on the bottom, but I'll just show the bottom as well. So I'm going to plug in the adapter. And it works with the neck adapter. Now I'm going to test the bottom. I rotate it with the label I put on it. Yes, there we go. And I'm going to listen to it. So unfortunately, I can't really hear it, even if I put on surround sound. So I guess it's the fault of this neck adapter. But you know it can work, but you just need to troubleshoot it. And last USB-C adapter, this is just like a dongle. Plugged it in. That's the top port. And it works. And I can hear audio. And now the bottom port. And there you go. Basically, all three of my USB-C adapters work. I think if I just put it this way, with the label facing back, I'll try and listen to it. If I can. So even if I reposition it again, the icon won't show up. But now, actually now it does. So it depends on the orientation of this specific adapter. So it does work. You just need to know which orientation to put it in. So that's convenient. I want to say 2 3/4 of my adapters work. Now I'm going to test the dock with my HyperX headset and see where we take it from there. Alright guys, I have my portable monitor set up and my TCL Roku TV connected with the Switch 2 dock. So now I'm going to test out the USB-A port of the Switch 2. I have my HyperX still connected with the USB extension, and what I have set up for my Switch 2 dock is I have the official USB-C cord that came with the Pro controller. The USB ports are down here on the left side, and I have a white male to female extension, which I have for if I want to use the HyperX headset. And also for the Switch 1, I have an extension if I want to use my HyperX headset as well. So I have my headset around here. I'm just gonna untangle and test the connection only through my extension cord, because it might be the same for the bottom. As you can kind of see up there, you probably saw that it's connected through the USB-A port on the dock. Let me just hear in both 2 channel and 7.1. Okay, so here's 2 channel, which I'm listening to. Of course, you are not going to hear it through the monitor or the TV. Now I'm going to test 7.1 volume. Yep, it works. And for lapsing giggles, I'll just try my USB-C adapters. One on the top port, the top USB-C port. So plug it in gently, and through the Switch 2 tablet itself, you saw with the USB-C to A adapter, the HyperX headset connected. Now, what's really unique is when you connect the USB-C dongles of headsets, it will recognize the brand and the model. And I also have a Samsung USB-C to 3.5mm dongle, which I use for my Sony earbuds, which are right here. So I'll just test those through the top USB-C port, and let's hope you can see the icon of this dongle. The USB-C adapter works. I can hear it. That's great. I prefer having earbuds with the headphone jack, and also have the adapter for traveling if I want to use it on my phone or my tablet or the Switch 1 or the Switch 2. However, unfortunately, the Switch 1 cannot support the Samsung adapter, but the Switch 2 can. I guess it has to do with the USB-C port on the Switch 1, with its communication to it. I actually have one more, and this is also Bluetooth related. I have my Tautronics Bluetooth transmitter and receiver. I'm gonna test the connection in receiving mode. You can use this as a transmitter if you want to use like a better quality Bluetooth adapter. I'm gonna plug it into my Sony earbuds, and now I'm gonna go to the system setting and have a Bluetooth. I'm gonna turn on my adapter again in receiving mode. Now it's flashing. I'm gonna try and pair, and showing up TBA07 Tautronics. And there you go. You can use a Bluetooth transceiver with this. Now let me just listen through my Sony earbuds. I'll just put one earbud in. And it works. Unfortunately, my Sony earbuds do not have like a volume button, so I can hear it, but you can hear like audio noise due to the circuitry on the Bluetooth adapter. So, I believe that's it for my connectivity experiment. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you all next time. Nintendo Switch 2 reviews. Thanks for watching.